opportunity right now. Utah's maybe as good as it's going to get at this point.
Dragon Speed prepping for Indy Car.
A thing for Pato O'Ward to be bitter. I think he has the right to be bitter with Harding and Steinbrenner because they really made him look bad and they made the team look bad by making a confirmation when they did not have all the deal pieces together. And I think that really was a disservice not only to the team but also to Pato O'Ward and his potential future by handling this situation the wrong way. So I think the management-wise, they really hurt themselves. They hurt Pato by doing it the way they did it.
Let's talk a little bit about Elton Julian's Dragon Speed team. Obviously, is making steady progress assembling the brand new DeLore DW12 chassis for a planned debut at the Indy Car season's opener in St. Petersburg. Although they did miss here we go again, trying to use that new name, the NTT IndyCar Series Spring Training. What are your thoughts?
The shakedown run at Sebring, and then they're going to be the same week getting ready for St. Pete, and I think that's just too much to ask for. I mean, granted, Elton Julian's team is one of the best prepared and best presented teams in ELMS competition, the European Le Mans Series, and when they make appearances in IMSA and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But you can't just jump out of the plane and try to put the parachute together before you smash on the ground. And I think essentially that's what they're trying to do here with this entry. Now, granted, I think Ben Hadley is a better driver than people give credit for, but this is a new territory, and I think if there's a team that's looking for or hoping for low car counts, looking to the Indianapolis 500, Dragon Speed will be one of those to ensure their place in the field.
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up and put a bow on it with that because we got to get into some NASCAR talk, and I know you got to go as well. Steve Wilson from Speedway Digest joins us here in the second hour. He's calling us from Atlanta and certainly going to give us a recap from Daytona, and we're going to talk about this week's Atlanta race. Matthew, where can people find you working your masterpieces, sir?
MATTEMBURY, and obviously at the same time I've also been, if you see my tweets, I've also been pretty adamant about the situation involving Bob Kraft. I think right now this harbors to the levels of Mark Schott and to Donald Sterling, and I think NFL needs to make the right decision here as far as punishment for a very foolish and a very poor decision on the part of an owner who is very much in the limelight as far as the success of the Patriots. I think they need to move quick here. Otherwise, this could stain badly, not just for the Patriots, but the entire NFL. And considering how many foot-in-the-mouth incidents the NFL has had in the last few years, they really need to do this the right way because they cannot afford another blow-up.
Well, we're certainly going to get into that at the bottom of the show here. Matthew, we appreciate you joining us, and we're going to get with you again soon. You have yourself a good weekend, sir, and we'll talk with you again next week, sir.
Anytime, Tom.
All right. Matthew Embury, WSBT up to South Bend, official Notre Dame country there. Of course, they are the official Notre Dame basketball flagship station, talking some college basketball with us. Also, Matthew is our official IndyCar contributor. But standing by in the Bounce Green Room is Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief, Speedway Digest, and our official NASCAR contributor. A lot to talk about NASCAR. Daytona 500 last week. Big win for Denny Hamilton. And a lot of action on the track in Atlanta, which is where Steve Wilson is standing by to talk with us about this weekend. My name is Tom Marquis, El Presidente, Balance Radio Network. We'll be right back.
The Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force, active duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar.
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
All right, welcome back to the Balance. 1 hour in the books. Thanks to Matthew Embury, WSBT, up in South Bend, joining us to talk some college hoopage with us, as well as some Notre Dame action and Indy Car action. But joining us now is the great wise one, Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, calling us from Atlanta. How are you, sir?
Well, it's raining here right now, and they've already canceled Xfinity Series qualifying, so I'm hoping that we can actually get the trucks qualified here in a short amount of time, but I don't know. It's rainy and it's foggy, so I'm not putting too much stock into getting this qualifying thing done today.
You mean you don't have the Daytona weather? You got spoiled with Daytona, didn't you?
Well, yesterday was really nice. I mean, it was 80s during the day. It got hot at one point and then dropped off about 30, 35 degrees into the 50s. So last night around Monster Energy qualifying time. But, yeah, I've been spoiled over the last 8 or 9 days of having 80-plus degrees.
Well, absolutely, and I tell you what a great race it was. We'll get into the 2019 Codes of Honor Quick Trip 500 here in just a moment. But I do want to get a recap from last week's Daytona 500. It was long. It took almost all day long to run the race, but they finally got it in, and we got to see the big one at the very end of the race there. What are your thoughts?
I think, for all the criticism that had been leveled over the preceding days, both within the dual races and practice and the clash, and we just weren't seeing large packs racing. We saw very few drivers going down to the bottom line. Mostly everybody was staying to the top side. I mean, that really didn't even happen during the Daytona 500. There was a lot of side-by-side, 2 and 3 wide racing throughout the entire field, especially with these large packs of racing that we've been accustomed to in the past. Ford worked together. That wasn't abnormal or unusual. This is something that they've worked on for the last couple of years. And it was interesting that Toyota and Hendrick Motorsports, JGR, and some others tried to gang up against the Ford crew of drivers who had been putting on a show pretty much throughout the entire week, even with the new Mustangs. So it was a much better event than I think a lot of people were leveling criticisms against, and or thinking that they would see in the Daytona 500. And at the end of the day, Denny Hamlin from the state of Virginia came home with his second victory in the Daytona 500.
We're talking with Steve Wilson, Speedway Digest. And Steve, I don't know if you've got your radio on and you're listening and talking at the same time, but we're getting some feedback here when I talk, but I don't know where that's coming from. So hopefully you can hear me just fine. I'm not sure what's causing that. But, Joe Gibbs Racing, what a big win that was for them. Emotionally, the loss of his son, the tribute lap 11, and then to turn around and have number 11, Denny Hamlin, win the race. Talk to us a little bit about that emotional journey for Joe Gibbs Racing.
you could have really scripted a better storybook ending to that weekend, especially in the light of JD dying and passing away just, weeks prior with the neurological disease. And the number 11 was something that JD himself used throughout his career in sports. I think for the whole team in general, it was a needed boost. It wasn't just a needed boost to JGR, but it was a needed boost to Denny Hamlin, who went winless in 2018. Could he still be the odd man out? Potentially, it could happen at JGR, but I think this kind of solidifies his position over there coming into 2019 and kicking it off with a win, especially with just the lackluster season that he had in the previous year.
Well, let's take a look at what's going on in Atlanta this weekend. As you mentioned, the Truck Series and, of course, the qualifying for the Xfinity races has been postponed or canceled at the moment, if we will. So I guess we'll start by points racing there. And then, of course, tomorrow a race as well. So walk us through the three races at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend.
Right now, there's just a lot of unknowns. Yesterday, we had some breakout sessions with probably, I'd say, a good 9 to 10, maybe 12 drivers coming into the media center talking about the new package that they're going to use with the tapered spacers, the reduction in horsepower from about 750 to 550 or so horsepower. Most of them just don't really honestly know what's going to happen once we put 40 cars on the racetrack. Several of these drivers have been out to Vegas and other tracks, and they've tested with this package, or they've tested with various iterations of this package. But, they've even been asked, will we see anything similar to what we saw in the All-Star race, which is a modified version of this package, and they don't even think that there's enough data from that, or that they can feel like that they're going to they could even compare those two packages. So I think we're in for an interesting event tomorrow. Tires are going to continue to be a concern throughout the entire weekend, not only in the Monster Energy Series, but in the Truck Series and Xfinity together. It's the second oldest track surface that we run on. It was paved back in the 90s, 95, 96, if I remember correctly. And, that this is going to continue to be a concern throughout the weekend. I know some of the tire fall off that we saw in practice with the trucks was about 1 second, 9/10 of a second over about 10, 12 laps or so. If you go a full fuel run, 50, 60 laps, then you're going to lose a considerable amount of time. Kevin Harvick in 2018, he was able to off-cycle this thing on tires and split the difference, and he was able to cruise to victory lane, but he doesn't even think that this year that would be a possibility just because of the combination of the packages that they're going to be running throughout the event. But tires are going to be concerned no matter what series that we're running in. Xfinity is already canceled for today, qualifying. We'll see Cole Custer and Chad Fenton sit on the front row for the race later on today. And Truck Series qualifying coming up in the next 30, 35 minutes. But with the misting rain and the low-hanging fog around here, potential that this thing is going to also be canceled and set up by points for later on today's doubleheader.
Well, we'll certainly see what happens. We talk about Atlanta and the new rules package. NASCAR rolled into Atlanta Motor Speedway, ready to begin its new era of racing that is shrouded in unknowns. First of all, what we want to know, will it be racier? That's the point.
I think that's what NASCAR is attempting to generate more side-by-side racing and more quality passing, not only just in the front, but throughout the entire field in general. Again, these drivers have continued to say throughout the weekend that they've only been in very small packs. They've been out there running 1 and 2, maybe 6 or 10 cars at the time. They haven't put full 40 cars on the field and run them side by side. Even in the testing, they were limited to a half a dozen or so cars. So there is that great unknown. Drivers are saying that the control of the cars is different already, even running by themselves. So I think it could be interesting once we see 40 cars tomorrow afternoon on the field rolling off. So just a lot of unknowns